that you're working with the foreign authorities to ensure. But now, what updates do you have now?
No, I think the Finnish government have their own procedure they're going through. The Nigerian government have forwarded all the relevant documents, exhibits, and everything about what's going on. So I'm sure justice will be done.
So it looks like it's taking longer than necessary.
Well, it's not our country; it's a sovereign country. They have their own procedures, so they have to follow their own procedures. Ours is to ensure they will follow up and make sure that we monitor what's being done. But I'm sure they will do, because we have been able. I think the Attorney General did a fantastic job, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Minister of Defense, together with the Office of the National Security Advisors, comprehensive things were done. Exhibits were forwarded that will enable them to be able to take action.
How dangerous was Simon Ekpa's activities and all allied or related to your office and to the Nigerian society?
Very dangerous. Innocent people were killed just by his utterances. And so we needed to stop that. And that's immediately picked him. You see that it has gone down. There are people like him that also doing those things. We're also equally going after them, both outside and within. There are people that benefit. The funny thing about the country is that some people think everything is about politics. There are individuals that feel if there is peace, then maybe the government is doing too well, and then people want to applaud. So some people intentionally want to make sure that the country remains ungovernable. There's strife everywhere, but innocent people are killed. If you want to be a leader and you are praying for some people to be killed just because you want to come in, I think there's a problem somewhere.
So the agitation in the Southeast region, I mean, you have mentioned that it is not only the fight, well, there are other measures. Yeah. Do you think that the release of Nnamdi Kanu might help the situation?
Well, I don't know. I think the federal government is considering all options, and I think that's a decision, that's a political decision. It's not our own decision. Our own decision is to stop the killing, to ensure that we secure the communities and that they're free. People must stop providing necessary support to these individuals. In Maiduguri, why surrendering came up is that people stopped supporting them, and they were able to come out. So I think the same thing should be repeated here. So that we can have, to whatever grievance they have representatives that will represent them, that will make cases for them. But besides that, we're always using the kinetic and the non-kinetic. It's not only about force. The non-kinetic aspect is also working. Like I mentioned, the kinetic effort is just about 30%. Non-kinetic is almost 70-65% of the whole solution. So we're also working towards that. The federal government is working with the opinion leaders, with stakeholders in the Southeast, to ensure that they let them come together and discuss and be able to call this and stop this wanton killing. Those guys doing the killing, you wonder what they're doing for.
Violence. So it is not about me. I am here as a good guy to put an end, to have a lasting solution to the violence that have caused the life of thousands of Nigerians.
But do you not accept that some of the things that you say has engendered this kind of...
From your own perspective, you can translate it and interpret it however you want. But from my own perspective, I think I am the good guy trying to teach the people that they have a right.
So there's no blood on your hands?
There is no blood on my hands. There are more blood on those supporting the election, supporting this particular coming election. They have more blood in their hand. In Imo State, you have a governor that have invaded his own state, killed people, and why are you people not talking about that? Those are the people that have blood in their hand. All the people that have been elected in Nigeria since 1960 all have had blood in their hand, and nobody is asking the question. I am just the good guy who say enough is enough. Somebody have to say something, and somebody have to do something, and we're doing it.
But couldn't you make more progress if you were in the tent, as it were, rather than out of the tent?
You can't.
In another country.
Sorry?
You're in Finland.
Yes.
So wouldn't it be better if you went back home and did the political thing there?
You should know. You see, I learn from what happened to others. I don't want to put my life in danger because the country, as far as I'm concerned, does not exist. Any country that does not respect the rule of law doesn't exist.
You're scared you might be killed?
Not everybody. You know that. You can say that as well. Yes.
There's a bounty on
because yes, there's a bounty on my head because Nigeria, because of the Islamic agenda in Nigeria, whoever that rises up to say something that will, make the life of the people to be better, they want to kill the person. They assassinate people every day. And today you see that there is a video that has been released by a man called Ikenga Imo. when an assassin invaded his house and they wanted to kill him. There are police officers. But if there is no CCTV, they will say unknown gunmen. These are the people that are causing all this crisis in Biafra land. But without that video, everybody has concluded that they are unknown gunmen. Today we have known them. What are the government doing about it? What are the international community doing about it? Every evidences that have surfaced anywhere about CCTV camera, it has always been security agent from the Nigeria state. Nobody is talking about that. That is what we are fighting against. We are defending ourselves and we have armed ourselves to fight Nigeria till the last day. We have done it before. The only difference now is that today we have social media. If social media was there in the 1960s, somebody would do what I'm doing today. In those days, we have a man called Okokondem. Okokondem was broadcasting for Radio Biafra and was propagating Biafra stuff, but because there were no social media, so he would have done even more than I'm doing today, I believe so. So this is what will make a difference. And my activities on social media is educating the people, telling them they are right, that you have a right to say no, and you have the right to say yes.
Who's funding you and your organization?
Biafra people are funding my organization.
Not the Tinubu party.
I have nothing to do with Tinubu. And you know, it's very funny. A lot of people said Tinubu paid me 25 million. How is that possible? How is it possible?
You're denying
I don't know who is Tinubu. I have never communicated with anybody close to him. Just like the way they forged the letter. The reason why this letter issue, Nigeria is a criminal country. They breed criminals. And that's what we're fighting against. The reason why the letter on gets sorted out easily and fast was because it was against Finland. And Finland have to officially react to the letter. And the letter went viral. There are so many lies against me out there on social media. Nobody could come and say it is not true. Okay? So and those lies, when they continue to say it and maintain it, it becomes truth. When nobody debunk it.
You talk about criminals. Do you think the candidates for the presidency are criminals?
They are all criminals. Yes, all of them.
Even Peter Obi.
Peter Obi is a criminal.
But he's a southerner, isn't he?
It doesn't. I am not a tribal. Listen, I'm not a tribalist. I'm not a tribalist, and that is what makes us different. We want. If I'm criticizing you, I criticize you with fact and figures. I'm going to tell you how all of them are correct. Do I explain? One, starting from Atiku. Atiku was indicted in the United States for money laundering. He's a criminal. How do you think that if Nigeria is a United States, Atiku will come back and start contesting with the criminal record he has had for money laundering? Tinubu was indicted in the United States for drug pushing. The records are there. So it's criminal. Nigeria is being ruled by criminals, and they breed criminals. Peter Obi his name was in Pandora. He didn't deny it. It's also the part of international money laundering crime. He has $15 million in offshore accounts.
But surely Obi, being a southerner, is on the side of your people.
That is the problem. Why must you have somebody that have to be in the side of my people? That is the dangerous diversity that have brought us this far, because it will never work. Everything about Nigeria is what favors my people. We want a Biafra where everything favors everybody. But when you have Nigeria, it is either Fulani. Now we don't even have Hausa anymore because Fulani have overshadowed them. So it is either you are fighting for Northerner as a Fulani Muslim, or you are fighting for Yorubas, or you are fighting for Igbo people. So how can you continue in that kind of system? This is why we must make sure that we don't validate Nigeria again.
So let me just say that.
Yeah. My name. Yeah, cool. It's a meter. Yeah. Sorry, that's my security. Yeah.
Right. What's your relationship with Mr. Kanu at the moment?
Kanu is the leader of indigenous people of Biafra, and
Do you talk? Do you have contact with him?
Well, we communicate somehow, but that's a confidential issue.
Because you see, he's disavowed violence. He thinks he's made statements to say that
everybody condemn violence. I condemn violence. Okay. I've always condemned violence on social media. Maybe you don't follow that, But where is the violence coming? Who are those committing the violence? They are the Nigeria state. And their intention is to use violence to blackmail what we're doing. And of course, you do not expect people who are Nigerians who are angry, who have lost hope. And the next thing you see from them is when you are hopeless, you become violent. So what is happening now is not caused by anybody. It is caused by the system itself. And until we begin to understand that the violence happening in Nigeria is being generated by the Nigeria system itself, we will never be telling ourselves the truth.
Are you going to rein in your rhetoric a little bit now? Because
How?
We're in the election period. You know people hang on to your words, and it can cause some violence, can't it?
Well, I don't care. We are already at war. In Biafra side of Nigeria, there is a war going on there, and I don't know why medias are not covering it. Do you see a democratic place where the plane will be throwing bombs to the people? It's war. The villages are getting burnt, houses are getting burnt. Even in Ukraine, where you're going to now, the number of people dying in Biafra land outnumber the people dying in Ukraine. So how do you balance that? And who are doing this? The Nigeria themselves, the Nigeria state. When the military comes to the village, instead of protecting the people, they get angry because they obey our orders and then they start burning their villages. So we don't want to continue like that. We want to have, the only solution to this is the disintegration of Nigeria. And if Nigeria do not disintegrate now, the disintegration later on will be very, very, very chaotic. It will be very hard before international community, if they continue to let us manage this and force people into election in Biafra land, when this time bomb is going to explode, it will affect everyone.
One last question.
Yeah.
Who's going to win the election?
Election is not happening in Biafra land.
Asymmetrical war with Biafra, Finland, and Norway, and the world. What is asymmetrical war? That means Nigerian government has continued to kill innocent Biafrans just because they want their freedom. It is on public domain. So Finland cannot claim or say they do not know there is a war, a silent war currently going on between Biafra and Nigeria. Finland cannot claim ignorance of that. The killings going on in Biafra territory, the killings going on in different parts of Nigeria. Finland has that information. Why do you continue to pretend as if you do not know what is going on or what the Nigerian state is capable of doing? How are you facilitating the torture and killing of Biafrans by the Nigerian government? The world knows. The world knows how Christians have been murdered in Nigeria. Biafrans are Christians. And the Nigerian government is not doing anything to protect the lives and properties of innocent individuals. Nigeria is a failed state. Why should Finland and Norway continue to toe the path of going with a failed state when you should be on the path of freedom, justice? Finland, you fought a brutal war to be free today where you are, knowing what you know and what you did. How and why should you pretend as if you don't know what the Prime Minister Simon Ekpa is doing? Rather, you are listening to the terrorist state of Nigeria and all the lies that they told you. And based on that, you are restricting him. And you also took our innocent brothers and sisters, our innocent Biafran brothers, and you locked them up in solitary confinement. Why should you lock people up in a solitary confinement based on the report that Nigeria terrorist state government has given you, Finland? Why should that happen? That is not acceptable. Wearing Nigerian military uniform or police, they must leave Biafra land because we have declared our independence. We have redeclared the independence we had between 1967 and 1970. United States of Biafra at this point is a sovereign state. And we will continue to do everything within the right of a sovereign state to be free from the terrorist state of Nigeria. We request the immediate release of our Prime Minister, His Excellency Simon Ekpa. Your continuous holding of our Prime Minister has caused deaths of innocent citizens in Biafra Finland. And you will be held accountable for these innocent lives that are being lost in Biafra land because of your continued incarceration of our Prime Minister. I want to also use this opportunity to tell Nigeria to withdraw all their military and police and security in Biafra. We have a Biafra map. The map of the 40 states of Biafra is well established. The geographical area of Biafra territory is well established. We've conducted our self-referendum where over 50 million Biafrans have voted to exit Nigeria and be an independent nation. We have our allies that we are working with closely that have supported the independent state of Biafra. We are calling on the Nigerian government and the Nigerian state to know that Biafra, United States of Biafra, is an independent nation. We demand the withdrawal of all Nigerian military and police troops inside the Biafra territory. I also want to use this opportunity to encourage Biafrans to please desist from speculations and rumors. Some of the speculations and rumors you've heard recently, we don't need it at this time. Our Prime Minister does not need these distractions at this time. We want every Biafran. I encourage any Biafran that is engaging in such distractions, in such rumors on Twitter to desist from doing that immediately. The government does not need those distractions at this time. Our focus at this time is to ensure we submit all the necessary papers of Biafra as a free nation to all the right tables and continue to that we do everything possible within our right, within our power as an independent nation to ensure that our Prime Minister is free from the hands of Finland, working somehow on behalf of the Nigeria terrorist state. That is our focus at this time. I encourage all Biafrans to be focused. Please do not listen to all these speculations and rumors flying on social media. They are not facts. They do not exist. And our Prime Minister do not need it at this time. He needs some peace in all the things we are doing. When people continue to engage in all these unproductive speculations on social media, you play into the hand of the Nigeria terrorist state because that is what they are looking for. And we will never give it to them. So those of you that engage in such, I encourage you to desist from doing such.
Biafra for a long time. Today, I'm here in the capacity of a representative of the Organization of Emerging African States. That's an organization, international governmental organization that Biafra is a founding member of in 2011. And the Organization of Emerging African States is highly concerned about the continued detention of the Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa. And we have therefore had a board meeting and we've done an investigation of his detention as well as the detention of Biafra's best ally, Ayaba Cho Lucas of Amazonia, who was also detained on similar charges in Norway. And we've looked into this, and the Organization of Emerging African States has come to some conclusions, and we're issuing a public declaration today regarding your Prime Minister, as well as Ayaba Lucas Cho. There's these two cases are linked. As you know, Prime Minister Ekpa was taken into custody by the Finland authorities, and he remains there under investigation. What you may not know is the conditions of his detention are very harsh. Solitary confinement. His access to the outside world is limited. So we know this because we have debriefed 3 of the other